This is the ITS Training Services Student Induction video, which provides you with further information about ITS Training Services, the Student Support Services, the assessment of your NVQ, key skills which form part of your qualification, and the management team and how they support you. Before starting this induction, you should refer to your Student Easy Guide 1, a guide to completing your induction. Do this now if you haven't already.
ITS Training, good afternoon.
ITS Training. ITS Training. ITS Training. ITS Training. ITS Training. ITS Training. ITS Training.
ITS Training.
Welcome to ITS Training. ITS's main offices are located in Felixstowe, near one of the largest container ports in England. And our headquarters are located in London's prestigious Canary Wharf. ITS are the leaders in shipping-based training and qualifications.
And 12 months down the road, now that you've completed, do you think it has helped you in your job?
Yeah, I think it's helped me quite a lot. I mean, before I started the course, I mean, I was doing the work, but I wasn't sure. Sometimes I wasn't sure why I was doing the work. But now that I've completed the course, I'm able to understand the method behind it.
ITS has training centers across all of the major UK ports. Hi, I'm Chris Rademacher with ITS Training, and welcome to your student induction. When studying for a new course, there's going to be a lot of questions you might have. For example, am I going to have the time? Am I ready for a course like this? Who can I turn to if I get stuck? What if I don't know the subject? All these questions are going to be answered within this introductory video, and I'm here to help you through the process. You're going to speak to your assessors, you're going to speak to your tutors, you're going to speak to the administration and support staff, and we're going to speak to students who have been in the same situation as yourself to get a few tips and advice.
Well, I was given this opportunity by my company and ITS Training to do this course, and I've learned a lot. I've gained extra qualifications, and I think the qualification that will be always useful in my career.
Now I'm going to take you through a tour of the premises. Come on inside. Here at ITS Training, throughout the student induction, we're going to look at three major departments. We're going to look at the student support team, the assessors and the tutors, and the management and how they're here to support you as a student.
The role of the assessor is to guide and support you throughout the qualification. Your timetable helps you to manage the course to meet the deadlines agreed.
The team of tutors and assessors guide and support you through the course itself. Your course tutors will help you to learn about the subjects of your course and deliver lectures on their specialist subjects. An assessor's role is to assess whether your work and activities meet the required standard of the qualification, as you are about to find out. You'll have the most contact with your tutors and assessors who are here to help you. So make sure that, based on the course you're on, you're producing the right material for that course. For all practical purposes, a Level 2 is equivalent to 5 GCSEs at Grade C, a Level 3 is equivalent to 2 A-levels, and a Level 4 is equivalent to 2 years towards a degree.
The checking and marking of your work is a process that is carried out from the day you apply to study to the day that you complete your qualification. The assessment process ultimately involves checking that you understand what work you have to submit, and then, when it is submitted, making sure it meets the required standard. The assessment process can be broken down into three areas: initial assessment, formative assessment, and summative assessment. Initial assessment, where we identify qualifications that may exempt you from aspects of your course, check your current knowledge levels, needs and expectations. We need to ensure that the course chosen is right for you. A training needs analysis, which is part of initial assessment, is normally carried out during a telephone interview. It is the way we identify your needs and tailor the course, by choosing and prioritising the subjects that you need to study. During initial assessment, we will select with you the most appropriate additional courses or components that you need to complete. During the initial assessment, we will ask you questions to make sure the assessment meets your needs. The student here is dealing with international trade documents. Vocational training focuses on your daily job role. Here is an example of a document which, in this case, confirms that the student is performing this task either always or often. I would therefore expect that the knowledge would be good. If it isn't, we identify this as a priority training need.
Formative assessment is planning the activities that you'll need to undertake to pass your NVQ. These activities may include learning more about a particular subject, gathering evidence on something that you have done at work, or explaining your understanding of a given subject. You don't have to remember every discussion that you have with your assessor, as you are given action plans to summarize the tasks that you need to complete, and the order in which you need to complete them. You will also be given a timetable, which lists all of the action plans and timescales for completing them. This is so you can see how far through the course you are, and whether you're on target or not.
And then there is an observation on there a couple of times throughout your course, depending on how long you're on the course for. Your assessor will come to the workplace and sit with you for 20 minutes or half an hour, and just literally observe what you are doing.
Typing up right now will include the purpose of the observation, based on what the student is completing that day at the office, what was actually observed during the day, any attachments which may include work product or emails or other documents that would have been collected during the observation, and feedback at the end, based on work productivity, and other feedback based on the performance elements of the qualification. Keep in mind that while things like reports and online testing show knowledge of the qualification, the observation is your chance to show how you're applying this knowledge in the workplace. Your assessor will visit you in the workplace to observe you. It's important that you're able to show them as many duties as you can. This will help your assessor to understand what your job entails, and it'll also help you to provide your assessor with copies of any documents that form part of the observation.
Your assessor arranges a series of action plans following your training needs analysis, and they are set in a specific order for a purpose. Effectively, this means that if your target due date has passed some time ago, and you have not received a further action plan, this is simply because you have not completed the first one. For example, if your line manager has not responded to your request for a witness testimony, as indicated on the Startup Action Plan, you will need to contact your assessor for support before moving on to the next item. The assessors have given you some advice on scheduling your work, but the people with first-hand experience of what it's like to study are our students themselves. We'll now hear what they have to say.
I'm an international logistic coordinator and I work in the shipping office of Canarava Limited, Cannon Island. I'm mainly responsible for arranging shipment of our baby products to Italy and making sure that all the queries, the problems are dealt with. During the course I felt like I had to set aside time to learn and to study for the course. I also took advantage of any spare moment within my working hours to do so, but at the same time sometimes it was too busy in the office and I had to use my own time. From my own experience, that you could use some of your lunch time, because usually an hour, probably you can spare 10 minutes to have a look at what you have to do, and perhaps in the evenings as well. If you have 15 minutes spare, try to make the most of it.
We will now hear from Tom, who works in the export department at MSc in Ipswich. At the time of making this video, he was studying for an apprenticeship in international trade. We are pleased to advise that since then he achieved it and is now studying for the advanced apprenticeship.
Tell us your job role, please, at Medici.
Yeah, basically I'm getting involved with the customers, taking their bookings, sort of trying to deal with any queries they've got and any haulage problems. Sort of basically anything they need, really, we're there to sort of try and help them. You know, right from when the container loads to when the container is delivered. I mean, if they've got any problems, they can sort of call us up and, you know, we'll try and help them the best we can. When I was doing my course, I was tending to do most of the coursework at the weekends, because obviously we had a lecture during the week, and I found that I could put more time and more effort into it at the weekends, and also my mind would be fresh as well. If I was to do it again, I think I'd definitely do sort of one set of questions each, try and do one set of questions each week, because that sort of breaks it down into more manageable chunks.
Earlier on, you were introduced to the different types of evidence you will need to gather, including documents you produce at work, a testimony from your manager, and observations by your assessor. You have even seen first-hand examples of these. But what happens to them once they have been produced? This is answered by the next part of the assessment process. Your evidence reference sheets provide a clear indication of the evidence and how it meets the standards. NVQs are assessed and therefore require diverse evidence as indicated here. Your assessor will allocate, for example, an observation visit to cover either performance, range or knowledge, depending on the criteria that it covers. You may have oral questions to complement your knowledge, or a witness testimony, or your line manager confirming your ability to meet the standards. Your assessor will guide you through this process.
What did you find most useful about the training at all?
Well, it gives me a general idea of all the rules and regulations for exporting to different countries. But I also learned specifically on specific subjects. And I find it very useful learning about different topics of export, because I could practice what I've learned in my job. So using what I was learning during my day-to-day work.
Okay, so you found a lot of the training on the export documentation. You found that you actually used it.
Yes, and okay. To be honest, even now, if I'm not sure of a particular subject, I go back to the ITS notes.
The formal review is carried out between 10 and 12 weeks and is designed to provide you and your line manager with an accurate position of your progress. The form provides information on the components of your apprenticeship and is a useful way of resolving any problems or difficulties that you may be having. If you are on time with your assignments, you will of course get a green light. So this leaves us with the final assessment stage, summative assessment. At this stage, your assessor will make a final judgment of whether or not the evidence you submitted is sufficient for you to prove that you are competent. Don't worry, if there is any areas that need extra work or clarification, your assessor will let you know exactly what action you will need to take. Summative assessment is carried out for each unit of the NVQ.
The management team are responsible for, amongst other things, ensuring that you receive high-quality training and assessment. Equality of opportunity is also key to ensure that all students feel included, are supported, and treated fairly. Next, we're going to look at the management team. There's two key people in the process. Number one, John Edson, who's the center coordinator, but also one of the partners of ITS training, as well as Stephen Edson, who's the general manager and also deals with all the equal opportunities procedures and helps the whole process take place from a management level. So those are the two people that you're going to need to speak to if anything goes wrong. You need someone to speak to at a higher level.
My name is Stephen Edson. I'm the General Manager at ITS Training Services. Amongst other things, I'm responsible for equal opportunities, both within ITS as an organisation and also for and on behalf of students. For example, we have policies and procedures in place which you are able to access through our internet and also by dialing our student support team or sending them an email. They're always accessible to you. In fact, they're available in different formats. It's very important that our policies and procedures are accessible to you, the student, because it's ensuring that you know what your rights are and that you're being treated fairly.
I was quite sceptical of starting this course because I didn't think I would be able and I would have the assistance to learn various export topics. I felt that I was being Italian and it would be very hard for me to learn for this course. I knew about Incoterms before, but I wasn't confident in using them. Most Incoterms we use are DDU for our European countries and customers, and FCA, and I've understood what they are and I'm confident in using them.
Both internally by our members of staff and also by your employer. Many students may not realise, but we're able to support you within your employment with your employer. So for example, if you have an issue or a problem, then we're able to help you and to guide you. So do feel free to contact us, and me included, if you have a problem or a particular support need.
International trade involves communicating with people from many different cultures throughout the world. If you are able to speak more than one language, it'll help you.
Manca un collo, ok. L'avete trovato? Bene. Se è possibile mandare la consegna domani, me lo assicuri? Va bene, ti ringrazio tanto. Ciao Lucio, ciao.
So who was that?
It was our Italian haulier that is responsible for distributing our goods in Italy and delivering them to all our Italian customers.
Okay.
I contacted them because I had a problem with one delivery. One delivery was stopped at the warehouse for several days, and I just wanted to know what the problem was.
Was that in Italy or was it local that you were speaking to?
I was speaking to our Italian haulier in Italy.
Alright.
And so I was having a conversation in Italian because I'm Italian as well.
So you have, well, Italian is your first language and English is your second language? Is
Yes.
that correct?
Our shipping office has got several people who can speak several European languages, and these languages include French, German, Spanish, Italian, and obviously English. And this allows us to speak to all our international clients very efficiently. So it's definitely a good positive aspect of our export office. They're able to speak their own language and they're more confident themselves. So it's obviously a good service we offer.
So do you feel that being able to speak Italian helps you in your job role? Does it make you more valuable as an asset to the company?
It definitely does. Firstly, I do speak Italian also within the office, the various departments. There are other Italian people within the company. We all work for the Italian market, and we all communicate on a daily basis. And this is really useful for solving the problems really quickly, and it's also easier to solve the problems between us. But it's also a strength for the company because it's something they can offer to all our customers, especially obviously Italian customers. But I was given this opportunity by my company and ITS Training to do this course, and I've learned a lot. I've gained extra qualifications, and I think the qualification that will be always useful in my career. So I think the fact that I was foreign, it didn't stop me gaining what I've gained and finishing the course positively. So I will tell everyone who wants to do this course to go for it.
I hope you enjoyed our time together today and that we've answered at least some of the questions that you might have had. If at any stage you require support, please do not hesitate to contact us. Or don't forget, you can always refer back to this DVD for help. At this point, I'd like to ask you to complete a short questionnaire that'll guide you through a little bit of our online testing system, get you familiar with how it works. At the same time, make sure you've understood all the important requirements of the course. Thanks for watching the ITS Student Induction video. Next, please refer back to Student Easy Guide 1, a guide to completing your induction. And remember, ITS Training, training for you, training for the future.